Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. A big happy Friday. I've been waiting all week and for the better part of today to put this video on because it makes me feel good. I don't know how to explain it. There's probably many of yous that are gonna swipe right to just see what this year's teaser is. I don't blame you. Listening to me ramble on's probably got to be like paint drying. I don't know. I'm not going to listen to myself for these videos because I'd probably unsubscribe to myself if that's possible. If you're interested and you carry on with the channel from time to time, we're going to do a little bit of talking first, maybe add a little suspense. There's been some great things that have come about that have kind of made my day today versus what this morning was. If you've seen the previous video, you'll know I lost a yearling open heifer, one of my prized ones. And I mean that sincerely, one of my prized ones. That son of a gun caught my eye 4 or 5 months ago, for crying out loud. And it was a real shady morning, but what are you gonna do? First things first, happy Friday. Something pretty interesting happened today. I'll admit it, I guess it really doesn't mean a whole lot. It was interesting to me and a feel-good thing. I was able to meet and shake hands with Mr. Scott Ford. Scott Ford of Cross Diamond Cattle Company out of Nebraska. A pretty influential, there's a lot of influential people out there within the cattle market. He is one of them. Runs a very sizable operation. His forte in this world, there's many areas that are his, but one of them is bulls. And a good friend of mine, not too terribly far from here, a very sizable cattleman and a good man. I'm going to assume this about every 2 or 3 years, that's an assumption. He brings in a couple of new bulls and he gets his bulls from Mr. Ford. Well, Mr. Ford and him have I dare say, a friendship as well, not just a working business relationship, but a friendship. And he was up here delivering these bulls to him, and they stopped in at the feed mill. I had to head to the feed mill by 4 o'clock, pick up a couple more some supplies, and they walked in, and pretty neat. I've heard about him 100 times. I've done some reading on him and his facility. I think that's pretty neat to meet someone that's pretty influential within the market that you are in. I wish there was time and the will, and I'm sure that he would have. He seemed like a very pleasant individual to sit down and maybe speak with somebody like that, at a round table with a few beers for a while would be one hell of a treat. But anyway, kind of neat. Just wanted to share it with you. Another feel-good story here. This is brand new. I normally don't share this kind of stuff with you, but I am today because it's Friday. I've been putting on some negative Nelly crap on this channel because there's been a lot of negative Nelly crap going on. For God's sakes. Whew. Happy Friday. Thank God for cheaper beer. Hey, Fred. You old dirty dog, you. We haven't spoken for a long time. Fred, I hope you're doing okay, buddy. I really do. Okay, I got a phone call today. Pretty honored by it. It came with from a referral, which makes me feel real good. There is an individual who owns a fair amount of property, and very long story short, he wants to know if I'd entertain taking on 60 acres. It's 60 acres tillable property. That's a big chunk up here, folks. You got to go a long damn ways to find 60 acres altogether right there, tillable. It's in grassland, which is good. That's a great thing. There's a story behind it that I'm not going to share with a past renter, and it's a common story around here. But anyway, it's none of my business, and I can't afford somebody else's business. Anyway, the distance scares me. Doesn't scare me, it's going to be costly. But if a guy needs ground, he needs extra hay during the year, what are you going to do? It's at a distance where I would have to, unfortunately, have log trucks, truck and pup, haul these round bales back to the farm. Period. End of story. I know some of you say, buy a big gooseneck. Well, my purchasing power for the year is over. Period. And you're about to see that. I haven't found that treasure chest yet. Anyway, we had a great conversation. I asked him if I could chew on it for just a little bit. Absolutely. We're supposed to meet early part of next week. Get together, look at the land, do a little jaw-jacking, maybe even have a couple of beers, which is the best way to do business if you ask me, as long as you don't have too many. Don't forget your promises. We'll see what happens. The distance is a bummer, but beggars can't be choosers, and we will see what happens, folks. So that's a feel-good piece of news right there. Kind of made my day. It really made my day, to be very honest with you. It's been a little rough around here, but we've covered all those areas here lately. I think I spoke on the latest video about John Deere. There's 4 John Deere reps that stopped here today about my new disc bine, the C400. That felt pretty good too. There is a problem with the disc bine, and it's making a proper baleage windrow out of the disc bine. There's a lot of scenarios that go with this. This video is not for that. We'll do a different one separate. But the problem is known. The problem is being fixed and addressed. And that is a great thing. Many of you would probably say, well, it's not supposed to be a problem. Well, you know what? We don't live in a damn perfect world, and that red paint isn't perfect all the time either, if that's what you're about to say. I'm not going to turn this into a Ford, Chevy, or Republican Democrat channel with John Deere or New Holland in case. It just, whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm just saying it was a real feel-good deal that they were here. We talked for a fair amount of times of this, that's, the other things, and they were a true R&D engineering team, and took notes, and they know the machine up and down. But we'll see what happens. We'll dedicate a video in time to come. I'll talk a lot more about it. I don't know if I shared with you a lot of the problems that I had, the problem that I had with it. And we'll go from there. I don't know. The fact that a farm visit was given and a problem is recognized and willing to be addressed is something kind of special these days, if you were to ask me. Okay, I'm going to drag this on even longer. All right, I've been picking at this a little bit here and there. That's not just a beer shelf. This is some securement to this pen. What that is some simple wood 2x6s with these 2-hole straps right here and some lag bolts. Very simply to give this pen a little bit of stability. Everywhere there is a crease, of course, where 2 gates meet. Now, I fortified it pretty damn good. I got these at Tractor Supply. You can get the 2-inch ones there as well. Everywhere where there is a crease, it's going to be a weak point. And you get a cantankerous animal in here. I'm not really worried about the bred heifers. I'm a little bit worried about the possibility of these open heifers maybe, and then of course I'm going to put the bulls in here at some point. The bulls that are for sale anyway. There will be a separation point here. I need to pick up a I'm going to pick up a Tractor Supply. Well, nah, it needs to be a 16-foot gate because that's what these are. Just for a little bit of help when it comes to separating. But yeah, there's probably better ways to do it. This is the way I chose. I'm hoping that I do not pay the price for not sticking and putting poles in the ground, which would probably be the route, the absolute route to do. I'm not willing and wanting to do that in here. I hope I don't pay the price for that decision. The stability of this pen is grown tenfold now just with this little crap that you see here. My weak point will be there where the loading, offloading is going to go. That's simply going to be held together with chains. We'll see what happens. This area right here, I'm probably going to take a big 4x6 soybean straw bale and set it there for a deterrence, visual deterrence. And I'm probably going to do the same thing on that corner there. Speaking of soybean straw, I made a deal with a gentleman that's only about 4 miles away or so. He's got one of those, not for crying out loud. I'm just going to call it a bale shredder. Okay, losing my mind. Oh, that's scrumptious. Happy Friday. Anyway, he's got a bale shredder. He's coming over on Monday. Wow, it's getting nasty out. He's coming over on Monday morning, because we've got one hell of a chill down coming. The yards are an absolute disaster. I don't even want to show them to you. You'll see him, just not now. He's coming over Monday morning while we have a pretty substantial freeze coming. And he's going to come out and we're going to create 2 laydown pads. 2 bales per pad. I've got a plan. And then, you can't beat a barter agreement. He's going to be leaving this farm with 2 bales for himself. And he's happy as a peacock about it. I am. That's going to be happening Monday morning. Tired of hearing me talk yet? Fred, you old dirty dog. Fred, I've kind of forgotten about you. Be honest with you. No disrespect. Kind of forgotten about you. We haven't spoken about you much. I usually don't pay attention to people I really don't give a damn about though either. Fred, I didn't mean to say that. That just popped out. That popped out. Happy Friday. This has been one hell of 3 weeks. There's a lot of things. There's some things I don't share with you. They're private. Holy shit. This kicked up out of nowhere. I'm going to tell you something right now. If the last 3 weeks was just normal, common doings farming, being a cattleman, and they're not, if they were, I wouldn't wait to go out of business. I'd get myself out of business. I kid you not, Jackson. I kid you not. She's been a rough go. Transmission failures. You know what? I'm not even going to start because there's a big list. But straw and survive. Got to keep going. I will tell you this. I'm about to turn this camera over here in about 1 minute. I will say this with all seriousness. I stated this on an earlier video. I guess I'm glad that I sealed the deal on this when I did. Because if it would have been about the time of now after that preg check and the disaster of it, which I still owe you a video of an explanation. You got that coming. If it was after the preg check, I probably would not have pulled the plug on this. The amount of money lost, those are the words I'm going to use, is basically about the amount of money that this thing is worth. What are you going to do? Gonna have to excuse the mess around here, folks. It's springtime. Folks, we got the H&S 1100 line wrap. Quite obviously, this is the inline bale wrapper. It's got a Honda 390 GX 390 on it. Can't argue with those engines. I've yet to go through all this. Now the H&S wrapper is not new to me. I've had some dealings with H&S wrappers. We're talking about 5 years ago or so. I don't want to tell you that it's the same similar deal as, you know, compared to the Anderson that I've been running for years, borrowing. It's the same ordeal, just different functions, and I do need to learn the functions. I obviously it come with a remote. I need to learn this machine. In a perfect world, I will be using this machine if that field that I planted is dry enough. I figure probably in about another month and a half that winter rye. But comes down to it, this was a no-brainer. Hated to do it because of the expense. There's a lot of things I hate doing. This was a no-brainer for this operation if this operation is going to keep going the way that it is. I already stated that I've got a new regiment now. It's an every other year program. Every other year is going to be corn silage, getting both silos filled. In a perfect world, both silos. We'll see. And then that every other year will be a big wrapped year. My big wrap year is this year. With Mother Nature's help, it's possible anywhere from 800 to maybe 1,000 bales wrapped. You can't rent, borrow, barter for that amount of bales. Can't do it. Can't do it. I guess you can. I choose not to. It's time to put the big boy pants on, I guess, and this is what I come up with. I have a lot of needs and wants, don't get me wrong. Well, I could stand here for the next hour and tell you what this farm needs. But this is the poison that I picked. Pick your poison. This is what I picked this year. I won't tell you what other things I was looking at. It was not equipment. It was projects around this farm that still need to be done. But this is this year's bigger expense. We'll put it that way. As long as we're not talking about this year's fertilizer program. Yeah, this is this year's big expense. Not justifying myself to you. I don't need to, with all due respect. I guess I'm just kind of talking out loud here. This got delivered yesterday mid-afternoon. This does come from Riestershire and Schnell, who is my John Deere dealer. And they also carry the full line of H&S products. This is last year's model. So when I started toying around with this idea of all my options of what I needed to go after this year for an investment towards the farm, of course, one of the first phone calls I made was to my John Deere people. I'm going to tell you something. This is last year's model. Happy Friday. They brought in, I think, 6 machines last year. This is the one that didn't sell. Nothing wrong with it. It's just the one that didn't leave the lot. So when I made that phone call, piqued my interest and everything else. And I knew they had one on the lot. I did some questions and this, that, the other thing. My sales guy, and don't tell me it's because he's a sales guy. Don't do that, okay? He told me, he's like, Ben, if this is a possible reality for you to go with the wrapper this year, you need to really come to graces on it and think about it quickly. I go, well, that's not how I operate. I'm sorry. He goes, well, you don't have a choice, and I'm going to let you know why. I go, okay, shoot. So, of course, the way this country works these days, which we're not going to get into because it's a beautiful Friday, the machines that they have coming in this spring for this year's sale, this year's models, are $9,000 more. No lie. I sure look forward to making you folks a whole bunch of nice wrapping videos this year. I sure hope Mother Nature allows us to just put in a bunker buster of a year. I need it. First crop alfalfa, third crop alfalfa will all be wrapped. We'll see what third crop looks like. That's perfect world scenario up here by me, excuse me. Second crop, I'm gonna all dry bale, and I'm gonna make a pile of squares, dry bale for second crop. We're gonna start the year off, with that winter rye. It's about 13.5 acres. I've been told the tonnage on that is absolutely ridiculous. That's what I plan on doing. We're gonna wrap it. And then of course I've got 18.5 acres of sorghum going in. Mother's Nature's help. Hopefully we can get about 300 of them bales wrapped. We'll go from there. Boy, it has gotten nasty out. Wow. I think that cold snap's going to start a little early. So here it is, folks. They call it the L&W 1100. It's the line wrap 1100 from H&S. She sure is pretty. It's going to get one hell of a workout. I got to get under cover here, folks. She's cold. The old fingers we just went frozen. Holy crap, we hit 47 degrees today. Damn near in a t-shirt. Wow. Welcome to spring in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I know it's the same for a lot of you folks elsewhere. So that's it, folks. We're going on a 25-minute video. That's ridiculous. This video makes me feel a lot better because it's been rough. She's been rough. And there's some other shit going on too, but you know, it's all controllable, one day at a time. Yeah. So it's a feel good Friday. Feel good Friday. Appreciate everybody tagging along on this channel, putting up with my BS and joining in, comments and just cordialness, whatever. Kind of means a lot to me, to be honest with you. It really does. And let's have some fun with it. Let's look forward to one hell of a year this year. And be honest with you, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag just a little bit here. No promises, but I've got a nephew who is basically has become a audio-visual wizard. We did a little talking about putting something together, some very well edited before and after and everything in between baleage making videos. And he's all for it. We need to see how things happen here. You know, he's a school kid, and he's about 45 minutes away, so that can get a little tricky. We'll see what we can do, but we're going to try and have a little bit of fun and camouflage the expense of all this shit. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, there's no need for that kind of talk. Hard work, dedication, 7 days a week, give a damn, make some fair decisions. Everything's supposed to work out. If it doesn't, there's a problem elsewhere. Thank God for cheap beer. That's all I got, folks. Hope everybody's doing okay. Have a nice weekend to come. Maybe we'll get a video turned on tomorrow or the next day, and we'll go from there. Appreciate everybody.